All right,
Perfect.
cool. I see it's recording now, so we'll get this started. So I think you said that you could see my screen, but just wanted to double check before we go.
Yes, I see common questions, start a new
Yep,
deal, training catalog.
perfect. So whatever you what we're going to walk through is basically what you would be doing on a day-to-day basis in the system. So just everything that you would input, everything that you would pull on the end, and then of course the fees and the DMV forms whenever they populate. So I know that you kind of, read off some of the stuff on the screen, but, we do have a place for common questions and a trading catalog. That way, if you ever need any additional help or you have some questions on best practices, you can always jump into there and, find some additional support. And then we
Okay.
also have our help desk number readily available. So we put it at the top of the screen as well as an email that you can utilize if email is just going to be an easier way moving forward for you. So
Okay.
without further ado, I'll go ahead and hop in. Every time that you want to process a new deal, you just hit start new deal in the system, and it will take you over to the next page for registration. Now, at any point, if you have questions, please stop me. And, we're happy to, go back over anything or talk through it further.
Okay.
And my demo partition doesn't like me right now. So we'll kind of keep working through the bugs. We have a separate demo partition in our system. But we are going to go through a registration state for New York. And you'll go ahead and click on the state that your customer is registering out of. Whenever you select dealership, it does give you a drop down of, okay, I'm going to restart this real quick. It might have logged me out in the middle of that. Sorry about that.
Because we do have Solera. I noticed you're with Solera.
Yes. What Solera
We do.
product do you guys have?
Just log in. Drives me crazy, but they have to, the digit, confirmation code for logging in now.
Oh, goodness.
Through Solera.
Well, I know that the two-step authorization is kind of the next way of the future, but I agree. Sometimes it can be a pain.
Yes, especially when it's cold out. My phone's in the car. I use my phone all the time. It's super weird, but
yeah, for sure.
Hey, it is what it is.
It is what
all
it
right.
is.
So I think my thing stopped freaking out on me. Yep, it's working. All right. So where the dealership is, that will actually have all of your dealerships there. Of course, the title tech part is our demo partition, but you'll just select whatever dealerships you have. So if this is your one location or if you have multiple, then you can select which one you want to title out of.
Okay.
And do you guys have a DMS?
Yes, we have Automate.
Okay, so yes, that is the Solera product that you guys are using. Yes, so for Automate, since it is a Solera company, we don't charge you anything to integrate. And what you would do is take the deal number out of the Automate system and actually load the deal in. So our demo partition. Yeah, I would absolutely recommend it. It takes a lot of time off doing these deals. Where, manually inputting it, it could take me probably about 10 minutes. But whenever you have the the integration, then, it can reduce that to sometimes 3 minutes. And it's just so much easier on your part. So what you would do is put in the deal number that generates from Automate, and then it'll actually pull that deal over. Now, this is a very manual way I'm going to do it because, like I said, we don't have the DMS integration on a demo. But you would load in your VIN number. It'll populate your vehicle type. You will select what kind of purchase type you're doing. We do have 3 different ways to do a purchase type. I'm going to show you finance because I think we were talking and lean perfection sometimes gives you some headaches. And then you can decide if you're going to do a plate transfer. So From here, there are a couple different ways to proceed forward. If you are only providing an estimate or a fee estimate for your customer, of course, go towards the fee calc only. We do have a guarantee on those fees, but if you aren't going through the full deal, then I would recommend that. Now, I do want to show you what the DMV forms that pre-populate are, so I'm going to walk through that full deal. Okay. Now, once you do move forward, it always gives you any key points that you need to know before moving forward. So for this one, it's that emissions notice and a transfer restriction. Sometimes it'll notate if you need a special VIN inspection or any late title fees. And then again, if you ever need any additional support, we have that NAT support email and phone number listed pretty consistently over our site.
Okay.
Now, I do want to point out, anytime you enter an VIN number, it will pull up any deals that you're working at the time. Now, I am actually doing Crystal Williams in New York, so I'm going to pull that deal for you. I made her my customer because I figured she'd be nice to me. Right. I'm sure you could see her on the call, so. So we are going to jump into this owner information. Now, I put in some additional information here so we could see it pre-populate on the forms, but everything in red is what is required to be filled out. So, of course, her first name, last name, I did put in a date of birth and a fake driver's license. And you can add any additional co-owners, or if you guys do sell the fleet, we have a business option available.
Okay.
So for the vehicle, of course, you would input that VIN number on the front page, load it over. If it's not pulling that year, make, and model properly, just go ahead and hit reload. And it'll go ahead and pull that over. Now, I like to add in, again, some additional colors. So either we're going to make that vehicle purple, we're going to have an odometer listed. And then, of course, you will select if it's private or commercial. Now, for the vehicle status, if it is a used vehicle, they do want you to know that previous title state. You'll just select what that previous title state is. Otherwise, I mark it as new vehicle just for this deal. Okay. Now, we do allow up to 4 trade-ins. Now, I really hope that you never see up to 4 trade-ins, but if you do end up having additional ones, you can always call us and we'll add up to 4 more slots. I hope that you never have to do that.
2. Yeah,
because I can imagine that would be way too much. But what you'll do is we have a place for a trade-in lien holder if there's any lien on that title, and then you would go ahead and add in the VIN number, load it in, and it'll populate everything we can up front.
So what is trade-in lien holder? What does that mean?
So if there's any lien on the title already, and they're trading it in with something on the title that you either need to transfer over to their current financing, or if you just want to release it, that's your option of putting it in here or not.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So once you move forward, I am going to spend a bit more of extended time on this page, just because this is the fee calculator. And this is actually where we'll talk about the pricing structure, pricing breakdown for our deals. So the sales price, of course, is going to be what you guys are charging your customer. Sales price on this vehicle is almost $50,000. Everything in red needs to be filled out. So even if you're not charging them anything, make sure that you have a 0 in place. That way the calculator can run correctly. But as you can see, I wanted to add some accessories, extended warranties, rebates, and a document charge. And then, of course, they have that gap cost reduction, or what's considered non-taxable.
Okay.
So just fill it out as accurate as you can. That way we get you the most accurate fees, because we do provide that guarantee. But of course, that is if we have told you to collect something that's not correct. You know, unfortunately, sometimes if you put a 1, it'll still mess up the taxes. But just being as accurate as possible when going through it. Now, I do want to spend some time here on the NAT processing fee. I know that Demetrius gave you a bit of a breakdown ahead of time, but I do want to go ahead and break down our, structure for payment. So we do have a $90 subscription. And then in addition to that, we also have this NAT processing fee. Now, as a total, it does total out to $90.98, but what it breaks down from is the fee calculation of $54 or $34.99, and then the DMV forms generated at $55.99, all totaling out to $90.98. Now, whatever you have in this box is what we're going to charge your customer. If you only want to charge them that $90.98, that's totally cool. Or if you are like most of our dealerships and you want to upcharge it, I've seen people upcharge to $150, even up to $200 for the processing fee. And that way you guys can not only, of course, cover those transactional fees, but make a little extra profit. And I know that's how a lot of dealerships try to operate.
The monthly fee is something that I know they're not going to like. So, I mean, if we could pass that on.
Yeah.
Because we're really doing it for our customers. So, you know, we can wrap up our sale with them. It's for them.
Yeah,
they don't
it is
know
absolutely
it.
Convenient.
They're not going to appreciate it, but it's better in the long run for all of us.
Yeah, and I'm going to be real honest with you, Karen. If you told me that all I had to do was pay you X amount of money and you were going to handle everything for me and I was just going to receive the plates, I'd say, okay, 100%. Because I used to have someone on my team who never titled his vehicle that he got from an out of state in Ohio. And I was like, man, they probably do not like you very much.
No.
And I
we
know
have a New York guy right now who's really giving us the business.
Oh, goodness. Now, this is just me having listened to calls before. Is this one where, you know, he didn't put a lien on a title and you had to get a duplicate, or what was that kind of headache that you guys went through?
That's it. He
I remembered correctly.
The vehicle. Yeah, he registered the vehicle in New York and didn't put their lien holder on. So now Fed Third Bank is, you know, threatening to make us buy the loan back or something. And
that's something that we've heard just way too continuous with dealers. It's just customers not knowing the process. And, you know, it's not that they intend to create some headaches for you, but they just don't know how to get it done properly. And then it just becoming a liability for y'all.
Yeah, maybe at first they don't know, but then there's clarity. Believe me, when, you know, our managers are calling saying, do you like your car? Because you're not going to have it anymore. You know, that, you know what I mean?
And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right? Yeah. What do you mean? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, and I think another piece of that is what, you know, it's so hard to get into the DMV now. Because I know I work 8 to 5 when the DMV is closed, like open. So it's so hard for me to get in and register paperwork when I need to. So, you know, I definitely understand that.
We're on appointment only.
Oof, goodness.
In Illinois, you cannot go into a DMV without an appointment.
That's such a nightmare. You know, I can see how that adds some headaches to everything that you guys have to do.
Yes, it's really, and this past one, you know, I send stuff in and I'm trying to use this power of attorney from when he bought the car and they're like, what, you know?
I'm like, no, you can't do that. I'm like, what do you mean?
And you're like, well, you're going to have to do it because, and then, you know, we look at his banking and he makes $35,000 a month. And he's a mortgage broker, so he knows all about it.
He knows exactly what he's doing?
Yes, he knows exactly what he's doing. And, anyway, that's why we're here.
Hey, understood. Understood. So, you know, before I kind of move forward, so I do want to clarify just this piece one more time. I know that, of course, a subscription is a concern to you guys, but just to kind of show you exactly how many deals it takes to not have to worry about it and, you know, just be making profit from there. So, of course, your first sale of the month will pay for that first monthly sale or that monthly subscription. But by the time that you've processed your 12th sale, if you're still processing or using this fee of $200, everything else is going to be extra, just profit for you guys.
Okay.
And you'll have paid for the year. So, it's just completely what makes sense to you. But, with all those headaches, I can't even imagine what you guys have had to pay out to ship things back and forth and communicate the customer time. So, I definitely love to make that process easier on y'all.
Just the frustration too.
Yeah.
So what is this labor charges?
I was hoping it was going to give me a pop-up. If you guys don't have them, then it would be $0. I'm assuming it might be any additional labor that you guys had to put into the vehicle, maybe adding accessories or something for the customer. That's my assumption.
Like a PDI or something, or I don't know.
Maybe, but the good thing is one where I'm not an expert and we have questions, we always have a support desk for you. That way you can reach out. You'll also have some training on it, after the implementation. And then, you will have your own account manager that will help help you walk through some deals and assist with any further training if needed. We like to make sure that you feel confident in what you're doing every time that you do it.
Yeah, I've had account managers in different areas, and I've never spoken to some of them yet. So it's super, super crazy. I would be able to contact him or her and actually talk to this person. Okay.
Yeah, our account managers are great. I love every single one of them that we have, and they are very on top of training, getting you guys ramped up and making sure that y'all are confident moving forward.
Well, the objective is that it should be easy enough for you to operate this thing without the help. So
we understand.
Right. But we're gonna be all wishy-washy the first couple of times, and but it's pretty cut and dry. I see that it's you just have the sale price, and it's going to figure after the step, then it's going to calculate the charges.
Yeah, and keep in
I know
mind,
our document fee.
Yeah, I was going to say, keep in mind, you guys are also going to integrate with Automate. And Automate will pull over as much of this information as we can. So, your sales department should be putting it in Automate already, filling out the sales price, filling out any of this information ahead of time. So you should know these charges by the time it gets to your desk.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because we want them ready. Of course, when the customer comes in, this is the way we're doing things. We'd like to do your paperwork for you. It's not free, but it does save you a lot of trouble.
And you don't have to worry about doing it.
Right.
So I do want to show you the rest of it, especially because we actually pull the fees, we break it down, and then I'll show you all the forms that populate. But I do want to make sure there are any other questions about, this calculator or that processing fee.
No, I'm pretty good on that.
Perfect. So of course the lien holder, the dreaded lien holder that didn't get put on the New York title. This is where you put it on. So of course, you put in Bank of America, federal tax identification number, and of course the lien holder code. If you have additional lien holders, I don't know many people who use more than one per deal, but we have an option for you to add it on there as well. Then of course, just putting in, if they have a primary and different mailing, just making sure that you have those addresses available.
Okay.
Then moving it forward. So of course your registration information, it will ask you to select county and city if it's in city limit. And then of course the insurance information, policy number. I put an expiration date to pull over on the paperwork. You can request a paper title if you wish to. I'm just going to keep it simple and say no. And then I do want to spend just a little extra time at this DMV contact information because I'm going to walk it through with a private tag agency but I do want to show you that we have the DMV location if you do want to get it processed at the DMV. Now, it will show you what's closest to where they live and where you need to send paperwork. But I do want to spend a little bit of time on a private tag agency just because I know that it's faster, and a lot of dealers are actually switching over to private tag agencies versus the DMV. Just because they do the same sort of paperwork the DMV does, but they're a lot more personable with you guys and your team. And in addition to that, they're a little bit more motivated to get these deals pushed through their system. So, I mean, while you're looking at maybe I think it's somewhere between 3 to 4 weeks for processing at the DMV in New York. This Maggard Information Associates can actually turn those deals in about 2 to 3 business days. So,
nice.
You know, a lot better of a timeline for you guys and a lot more personable. Now, they do have a fee associated with them, but that is also something you can, you know, charge back to your customer, especially if they need it taken care of quickly. And you can provide that assistance for them. Now, I'm going to show you where that'll pull on the fee calculation. So I am going to walk through with that private tag agency as our selection.
Okay.
But what I like about our
so
system
you're saying
is
this is like this is like a currency exchange or somebody who does it, who does the fees.
Yeah. So think of like a DMV, but just on the, I guess the private sector is how you would say it. So they process all the paperwork and they'll, you know, have the metal plate sent out to the customer, but they charge a fee to do it a little bit faster.
Okay.
So it's completely up to you guys how you want to operate. I just want to show you where you can charge that back to your customer on the fee calculation. Okay. And then one thing I love about our system is it will indicate where you are going to be charged. So when you go into calculate fees, you'll see a blue button, which means once you select it, it's the $34.99. So that first piece of that complete transactional fee. And then,
so if I click that, no matter what, I'm getting charged, right?
No. If you are still on the same deal number, so for instance, let's say that your customer didn't like the car and they didn't want to move forward with that one. You can go in and change the VIN number. And as long as you are still in this deal number, you are not going to get charged another $34.99 for that deal.
Okay.
So I do recommend making sure that you do stay, hey, if I'm going to use this, we're going to stay on this deal number.
Right.
Just to keep it simple for you.
Otherwise, I'm going to have a heart attack and you're going to have a heart attack. We're all going to be sad. So.
And no reason for that.
Right. Right.
So first things first, I'm going to talk about the 2 most important things on this page, and then we'll go into kind of that fee breakdown that you see below. So total taxable amount is going to be that fee calculation we did. So it's going to add up that sales price with all the extras that we added in. And then at the bottom, the total amount to collect is anything additional that you need to get from the customer to cover the registration taxes and fees. So it'll tell you what you need to collect from your customer. Now, I like that it also breaks down your title and reg fees. So you can see everything that they are charging. So reg fee, title fee, lien fee, use tax, plate fee. Then additional fees, that's where that PTA fee is going to be. And then that's where our NAT processing fee is. And then below that, it'll break down your fees for New York. So at the state and county level. And then if there is any reciprocity between your state and another state, it'll calculate that in the system. So Florida doesn't have any for New York, but I do know, you know, Illinois to Indiana, there is a little bit where I think one collects a 7% tax, the other one is a 6%. It'll tell you this is what's due to your state. This is what's due to the state of New York.
Yeah, we have lots of states like that.
Yeah, so up top will be tax amount due to Florida. That's where Title Tech is hypothetically listed. So it'll tell you like, hey, I forget, where are you guys located?
Illinois.
Illinois. So you see that all the time. So it'll say tax amount due to Illinois. and then it'll give you that tax breakdown, and then whatever else is due to the state you're titling into.
Yes.
So it'll break that down for you as well.
We just do it like Indiana is like we pay 6 1/4, and then their rate is actually 7%.
Yeah. So I think y'all's is 6 1/4 now. So it'll give you the 6 1/4 here, and then the additional 75% that you need to send over.
Yeah, 0.075. Yeah.
So that'll break it down here. That way you guys don't have to do the math anymore.
All right.
What's up, Demetrius?
Yeah, because I have to do that. I have to do that manually on the computer.
Oh no.
For Indiana.
Let me guess. You have a spreadsheet that you pull up and you go through.
Oh, it's just like it used to be real quick, but you know how everybody wants to do everything on the computer now. Now it's like 15 minutes.
Oh goodness. What were you going to add, Demetrius?
Yes, I was going to direct this towards Karen. If you hover over the NAT processing fee, right? Like to show Karen the difference of the breakdown that the transaction fee that we're charging you guys of the $90.98, it's calculated in at $200, right? If you follow us on that point. And so what that means, the profit that your dealership has made was 110 off this one deal.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm just specifying Karen on that.
So our monthly fee would be covered. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Correct.
I just don't want, I don't know, times are tough right now. And I just didn't want to go to my owner with more monthly fees or anything. That's the only thing that made me.
I definitely understand.
Be worried about it.
It can be tough, but I mean, that's why we like to give you the ability to charge it back, because we really understand that you guys, need to make some additional profit sometimes on the side. And with the headaches that these bring you guys, it's something that I always recommend charging up, because it's such a process.
Just the legal end of it is just arduous.
Yeah. And then, just
that.
Any other notices you need to know ahead of time. So this will include, safety inspections, VIN inspections, smog inspections, late title notices. Those are the few that I've seen. But just for New York as an emission and safety inspection.
Yes. Florida is like VIN inspection and all of that. For new vehicles or something, I don't know. So that's going to tell them that they're not going to be able to, their vehicle will not be fully registered until they process what it says in this box.
Yes, it will let you know ahead of time that we can't get it completely registered until we've got everything completed. But it does give you that heads up ahead of time. That way you guys can work through a plan to get it done if it needs to be done with the customer. And
so then they would go take care of that end of it, and then send me the correspondence from that area to add in with their paperwork when I send it in.
My assumption is yes.
Okay.
I think that's what a lot of my clerks do whenever they're doing this.
So it would be on us to make sure that that got handled. So
yeah, but it does. I know that it adds a tiny bit, but with how much you guys are currently doing for your customer, I'm hoping that that's something that won't cause any headaches for you.
Well, hopefully not. It's just it's like once the sale's over, they don't want to talk to us, and then I don't. They don't answer my calls. They don't care.
Yeah, and I think some of these don't have to be handled by the customer. I think for some VIN inspections, I mean, don't you just have to contact law enforcement and have them do it?
I don't know, because we don't require that in my state. So we've had to do it for Indiana and filled out the form, and we did call law enforcement. But I don't know if that's across the board or,
I think
what I mean?
it's
I don't
universal.
know that.
But that's not something I want you to hold to it. That's also why we have customer support to answer the questions that I don't have for you.
And if they live there, then they kind of know what they have to do too. I'm hoping, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, the good
Like
thing
if
is
they
you
live
don't
there
have
for
to
a while.
rely on them knowing. You know ahead of time everything that you need. Because I recommend doing this at point of sale when you're selling the car. That way it's all signed, the paperwork signed by the time the customer leaves.
Well, yeah, they would have to pay for it, or we would have to somehow put it into their loan if they could, or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of figuring when it comes to using this process. You know, we're going to have to get a higher approval, or you know, they'll have to pay for it at the time of sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if we explain to them, listen, we're going to save you a trip and we're going to take care of everything. You just need to have an inspection, you know, your VIN inspected or whatever.
Yeah.
Hopefully that they would take care of it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That's not every state.
No, not every state. Some states are so much easier than New York.
Right? Oh my God. And Florida. Oh my gosh, Florida.
Yes.
Terrible.
So the other part of this is going to be print registration forms. This is where those DMV forms are. So once you see the blue button again, it just lets you know this is the other piece of that $90.98. So it's only $55.99. And once we click this, it's going to auto-populate those forms for you. That way you know exactly what you need to send off, where to send the check, and it'll have everything already filled out with Crystal's name on it. So as you can see, we have the primary registrant, her ID, date of birth, any other things that I put in ahead of time. So VIN, year, make, color. Then all your favorite check boxes.
Right.
It always does this pay attention to your check payable to section. It's usually your next section. You do have that notice of lien. So again, the VIN number, year, make, Crystal's information, and then anything in yellow indicates that you do need a wet signature. I do know there are states that allow DocuSign or Route 1, but you're always safest just getting that, physical signature from the customer. And since they'll be in front of you, just having them sign it. And then the lien information we put in. Then I do want to spend a second on this one because this is the title application checklist for New York. So it'll tell you everything that you do need. For the tax forms, it gives you any 3 that you can utilize. And what we do like to put is in red. That means something that's been a common mistake the DMV does see. And they want to notify you ahead of time so that there's no holdup on paperwork. So, insurance must be barcoded with an effective date within 45 days of registration. Make sure to review payment information page just for your title fees. So I know that New York has a lot of red on it, but it's just to help make your job easier on the back end.
Yes. Yeah, that scares me, but
yeah, but once you
want you to be able to get it all taken care of.
Yeah, they want you to have it all taken care of, and that way you don't have any issues with like the lien perfection or, needing to secure a duplicate title. Then you do have a 2-step process. If you're using a PTA, it will detail what you need to do down here. And then, of course, just your buyer acknowledgement signatures. Then as you come down, this is going to be that payment information. So where you cut your check to. If you're using a private tag agency, it's always the top. If you are using the DMV, it is the bottom. And it'll say using the following information if you're mailing to the private tag agency. Or if not, use this. Then there are mailing instructions. Go ahead. Do you have any questions?
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Okay.
No.
Cool. So mailing instructions, this is in case you do not have a good memory like me and you don't remember the address. It will provide you with the address of where you're sending your paperwork to. It'll give you a phone number and tell you if there's a fee associated.
Okay, so we'd have to print a check to them separately.
And that's only if you're using a private tag agency. If you use the
Right.
DMV, this is going to be 0 in the box.
Okay.
So you can choose where you want the license plate to go to. So if you want it to come back to your dealership, you can do that and overnight the plate and the paperwork to the customer. If you want to send it straight to the customer, you just put in their name, their phone number, and mailing address. And then one of your shipping options. Now this is from Maggard & Ford Associates. You would just include it with the paperwork. Your Department of Revenue forms.
What? Oh, is that? Yeah, I would have. That would be filled out already, right?
Yeah. So
Department of Revenue.
I didn't put in, a street address or a social number. I don't have all this information pulled over. Yeah. So she would just have to sign it and just verify the information's correct. But
And
you can see there are some places.
Like the ST556 here in the dealership, then I would provide that with it to show them that she paid all of her taxes.
Yeah.
I'm sure they would want that.
Then just any additional information you need to know about that page. This is the deal summary breakdown. So more fun Department of Revenue forms. And again, everything that we filled out is going to be on here. But I always recommend pulling in as much information as you can. That way there's way much, or there's not a lot for you to fill out. So odometer damage disclosure, so that odometer was already filled out. Then of course the information from the vehicle that we put in, and that it indicates again what signatures required. So I do know the state of New York always has quite a bit, but overall, I do want to get your feedback and see if this is something that you could see really making an impact on y'all's day-to-day and, with your titling process.
Oh yeah, I think it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
I've always, like I said, we had this other place call us about doing an expedited title service, and we went right for that. It's Dealer Track, and they process our transactions, but they do it per transaction. They don't have a monthly fee. So when I heard there was a monthly fee, that's why I've been kind of shy to bring it up to the owner or my manager. But now that he's seen everything that we go through, I'm sure he's going to want that to be, he's going to be definitely considerate for sure.
Yeah, and I know that you guys have such a process involved. So, if there's anything on our end that we can do to make that conversation easier, I mean, at the end of the day, I care about what you do day to day. And it sounds like y'all have just gone through so much grief to title into some of these states. So anything that I can do to help make that easier on you, I definitely want to make sure that we help.
They don't register their vehicle properly every time, it seems like now.
Hey, once it happens once, it just seems like when it rains, it pours, right?
Well, and we fill it out on their CFO and their title, and then we send them a letter stating, please fill out your lien holder properly. In 1 month, your lien holder will be looking for your title. That's how they secure your loan. And it's very serious. No one cares. Nobody listens. They just don't do it.
And so, I know that can be pretty strenuous on, it sounds like you don't have to make the phone calls to the customer, but just the amount of times that you probably have to call them to try to get that taken care of. I know that.
Oh, I do. I do have
oh no.
the calls, the letters,
oh no.
registered letters.
Long day.
Yes. And then
I can see how time would get away from you today if you've got to make all that.
Well, it's just we have this New York one, and we're sending paperwork in where we don't have everything, and we're just praying that they do it at this point because the gentleman does not answer the phone, and he lives in New York. So, you know, that's just
like, what are we supposed to do at this point?
It's on us. So he makes his payments just fine, but they don't care.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought this would be a good thing.
Yeah.
Super good thing for us.
Definitely.
And then,
so what do you think would be the best for us to provide you to take to, I guess, your boss for that next conversation?
can I get copies of this? You said you have this?
Yeah, I'm recording it right now. So you'll have this full recorded demo. I'll have a shorter one just in case he doesn't have that much time, because I do know this one has been a little bit longer, just due to some of the questions that you've had. But we'll include this as well.
Yes, I mean, actually, I could go over everything if I had these copies, too. If I could just get these copies, the mock deal that you printed, that would be super helpful. That way I could just say, look, this is a New York deal, you know?
Yeah,
and
I will
we
see
just
if
input
they
everything.
let us. Yeah. Because they may not let us provide that information. I don't know why they wouldn't. But I'll see if I'll make sure that it's something that we can do. If we can, we'll absolutely share it with you.
All right. That would be good. And then I will talk to him first thing tomorrow.
Okay.
And then we'll just get it set up, whatever we need to do.
Okay. And then just because I want to make sure I covered everything you were hoping to see, was there anything that I didn't cover that, you were hoping that I could?
No, you did it. Where to put the lien holder in, and I have questions about the fee page, where the calculations are, but those will work themselves out when I get an F&I with Eddie.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you can answer those, and they're just there was a lot of questions there, but we'll just see how that works out.
Hey, and like New York is probably one of the most tax heavy that I've seen. So some of those states don't have half of those fields.
Yeah, I mean, and he'll be able to figure it out. We'll just, the first one is going to be difficult, so I'll want to talk to someone to make sure we're properly doing it.
Of course.
And then from then on out, I mean, we'll be fine. So
cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. And